Hi there, I'm Clarence Waldron. Welcome back to Black Muse. As you know, this is the season of Luther Vandross. There's a brand new film, Luther Never Too Much, that's in theaters and will be on CNN on New Year's Day. We are really delighted to have a good friend of Luther's and a former backup singer of his, Miss Paulette McWilliams. And she's going to talk about her years with him and all that good stuff. So let's go ahead and meet her right now. And thank you for joining us, Paulette. Let's dig right in. Luther Never Too Much is out now. I know it was tremendous. Tell us about it.
Well, it was spectacular and tremendous and insightful and heartfelt and every adjective that is positive that you can possibly imagine. Describing to me, one of the best singers ever to ever come through the music world. You know, he was one of the best. There's a few, but Luther is absolutely, he's in a ballpark all alone. So what can I say? It was heartfelt because it was his original friends, Fonzie Thornton, Robin Clark, Nat Adderley Jr., Marcus Miller, and they were his friends long before I came along, and I came along and I was his friend for over 20 years. So they were long before that, and they gave their own heartfelt, perspectively. Each one of them gave their feeling about how incredible of a person and how focused he was on what his dream was, so he followed his dream throughout. And that's how I met him. He was singing backup for Bette Midler as a harlot. And as the fourth harlot behind the curtain. And of course I met him then because I became a harlot and was with Bette Midler for over a year and a half. And we talked about was singers and singing and, before he did, actually, he had already done Never Too Much, but it hadn't been released yet. But once it was released and it quickly, rose to the top, he did the Forever for Always. After he did Never Too Much, he did Forever for Always for Love. And from that point on, I was on every album.
Wow.
The only album I didn't record with him was Dance with My Father, the very last one. I was in Russia doing my own stuff,
Right.
My singular thing.
Yeah.
But Luther was a consummate professional, kind, generous, funny, and very focused and loving. Yeah.
So what is your fondest memory of Luther? I know that's a hard question.
That is a really challenging question because I have many fond memories. I have road memories. I have in the studio memories. I have my first fond memory of him was when he and I sang a duet for one of the harlots who was getting married. Her name was Franny, and we were at the wedding reception, and we sang Just the Way You Are together. But I have many fond memories. I mean, on stage, every once in a while. I didn't get to sing much on stage. He wanted me to do my harlot dance on stage. But the one time he did let me sing on stage, it was so much fun. And that was another fond memory. He let me do the Aretha, he and I did like a Aretha Franklin little duet thing. And the audience kind of went nuts for that. It was wonderful.
Sure.
But he was so sweet and kind. I mean, there's so many fond memories. I can't just, I mean, in the studio all the time, as focused as he was about what he wanted on the background vocals, he would also be so funny and make us laugh. And we would laugh and talk about anything from A to Z. Yeah. Intelligent, just he was a class act,
Wow.
all by himself. Absolutely.
Yes. So now what would be the best advice that he gave you? Can you remember anything, or did you watch him do something that taught you something? Just what's the best advice from Luther?
Well, I don't know if he gave me any particular quote unquote advice in that way, but we were always talking and he would give me his opinion. We're kind of in the same age range, and not that I learned a lot from him, but it wasn't because he said, Paulette, I want you to know. but it was basically because, we were sharing information. So I feel that, I learned a lot about how he approached his background vocals, how he approached everything that he did was with so much professionalism and love. He put love in everything that he did, from the way he dressed the Lisa and Ava and Alpha on stage. When they were doing, I would be sitting in the pit, with the band most of the time, especially when we did the theater in the rounds. But basically, just his professionalism. We learned things from Bette. He was very much into visualization, which that is Bette Midler's thing. Visualizing, going to see her is a visual experience. And Luther made sure it was a visual experience for people that came out to see him. He wanted to give them more than more than just them buying the record and come and seeing him sing the record. He wanted to give them visuals, and he gave great visuals. Everything he did, from Creeping, oh man, he had stairs and lit up, and Lisa and Ava and Alpha would go up the stairs on Creep, 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 and I would be singing, But he always had visuals. From Bad Boy to The Night I Fell in Love, he had this dancer, Cheryl, who would get up on the piano and dance.
I remember that. Yes.
And we'd be singing, and she'd be strolling with a little pretend baby in the carriage, and we were in the park, so everything would go along with the lyrics that he sang. He was a consummate. He wanted to give people something when they went home, they would be thinking about it over and over. They want to go back and see the show. That's why people love seeing him live. Yeah. They knew they were going to hear something great, but they also knew that they were going to see greatness. Yeah.
Right. So what's your favorite album or favorite song or song? Let's make it plural.
Oh, God.
Make it plural.
I don't have just one favorite, and I'm singing on pretty much all of them. Wait for Love, Stop to Love, Give Me the Here and Now, Don't Want to Be a Fool, Better Love, I Can Make It Better. I'm singing on all those. Since I Lost My Baby, so amazing. Any Love, and I would sing double parts with him. When he had double parts that he did with himself on the record, a lot of times he'd give me the double parts to sing when we did the live shows. So those were wonderful. That was always wonderful to sing with him. And he said that my voice matched his so well, the timbre of my voice. Yeah.
Yeah. So what do you mean by double part? What does that mean?
So that means if there was a harmony part that he sang with himself on the record, then when he did the live show, so that the audience would hear that harmony part, I would be the ones he chose me to sing a lot of those parts with him.
Oh, got it.
Yeah.
Got it. Yeah. Okay. Now you've done a lot of folks. Singing behind a lot of people.
Yeah.
But let's start with Chaka Khan first, because you were associated with her. There's a friendship going on there. Tell me about Chaka Khan first.
Chaka and I were, and we still are, amazing friends. We met through our husbands. I was 21. And with the time we met, she was 17. She was a baby. We were both babies, and we've been friends ever since. And when I first heard her sing, I literally almost ran into a pole, because she was in the back of my car. And at the time, there were no laws about children. So it was just, she was in the back. I had another little child sitting there, and it was just amazing. I heard her sing. The radio came on with Stevie Wonder came on the radio, I should say, and she started singing along with "I Don't Know I Love You, I Don't Know Why," and she started singing that, and man, I was like, oh, "Girl, you can sing," and that's how it's always about the singing. I think God really put me in touch, and those people I think God introduced all of those of us that wanted to be introduced. Musicians, singers, that's how I feel. And with Chaka, and our friendship is we're still wonderful, incredible friends. I love her so much. I'm so pleased for everything she does. But I introduced her she came to see me with Rufus all the time. It was my group. And after about being with him about 2 years, I had some other decisions I made because I was doing a lot of jingles in Chicago. And I decided to keep doing those jingles because they were really lucrative. And they asked, I told them I wanted to leave the group. And they asked me, why do you want to leave the group? And I told them, well, I got, responsibilities. I want to do what I got to do. And then they said, but who are we going to get to take your place? And I said, you guys have to hear my sister Shaka. Well, they had seen her a lot because she would come down and dance with me all the time. And so, they would see us together all the time. And I just said to them, I'll train her if you guys let the group. They said, well, you got to train her for at least 2 weeks. And that's how she got the gig. And that's what I did.
You got great stories. My God, look at you. Wow.
Yeah.
Now you mentioned the commercials. Let's jump into that. You did about 600 commercials, I read.
At least, yeah.
At least.
Yeah.
Name a few of them that people might recognize.
Woo! Okay, so I did Budweiser. When you say Bud, you said a lot of things nobody else can say. When you say Budweiser, you said it all. I've done that one. I did eBay. I did Folgers. Morning sounds greet the day. Need a rhythm before you play. It's that morning brew that wakes the groove in you. I did that. Best part of waking up. I did that.
Wow.
I did Kentucky Fried Chicken. I did Coca-Cola Adds Life. I did Kellogg's. I did Master Charge at the time. It was called Master Charge. I did, I did Cadillac. I did all of the hair products from Johnson. Remember Johnson's Johnson for Touches of Class. I mean, I did all those. I did, goodness. Well, I don't even know where to begin. I did United Airlines. Have you seen the other side of where you live? Mother Country. I don't know if you remember that one. I did that one.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing.
So many, I can't even remember them all. Yeah. Yeah. Thank God, though. They really helped me a lot.
Absolutely. I'm sure. Yeah. Now, tell us some of the folks you recorded with or you performed with. Like, I know a few of them. Aretha Franklin. What did you do with it?
I'm on 2 different albums with Aretha because of Luther, of course. I'm on Jump, Jump, Jump to It. I'm on that. I'm on that album. I'm also on the other album that came right before that Luther produced. I can't think of the title. I'm on Michael Jackson's Don't Stop Till You Get Enough. I'm on a couple of songs on that album. I'm on Billy Idol's Ride Your Pony, Money, Money. I'm on that. Ooh, I love you, Money, Money. I'm on that. I'm on Hot in the City. I'm on, for Billy Idol, I'm on David Bowie's Putting Out the Fire with Gasoline. I'm on that one. For Cat People, I'm on Mary J. Blige's Mary. I'm on Lauryn Hill. I'm on Celine Dion, Whitney Houston.
Everybody. Look
Diana
at you.
Ross, So Close. I did stuff with the Brecker Brothers, Chick Corea, Herbie Hancock, Light Me Up. I mean, there's a lot of, I'm older, so
yeah.
Of them all.
Wasn't there a Johnny Mathis connection?
I sang duets with Johnny Mathis on Columbia album after they did, after he and Denise did Too Much, Too Little, Too Late. I'm singing on different, and I'll Do It All for You. There's I'm on the YouTube with Johnny Mathis on Johnny Carson show. You can see it on YouTube if you put my name in. Yeah.
I'll go right there. I'll go right there. Okay. So
and
now
I did duets with Marvin Gaye on his last tour.
Yeah. Tell me about that.
Oh my gosh, I love him so much. Well, I can't leave out the fact that Quincy Jones was my first mentor. And when I moved from Chicago, it was because Quincy Jones sent for me to come and sing, be lead singer for his Body Heat tour. I can't leave that out. He was my first mentor. Yeah, and I rode and we We went all over the United States, Greek theater, Radio City Music Hall. Then we went to Japan, did 27 different cities in Japan with Wawa Watson, Frank Rosalino, Sahib Shahab. Yeah, we had, and then of course, goodness, touring with Marvin Gaye was when I first met Sheila E., because he was on the road with us with Marvin Gaye. Marvin had me to choose all the background singers and choreograph them. And I chose Lynn Davis, Frida Woody, Sidney Davis. And we were on the road with Marvin, but he wanted me to sing the duets with him. And I did that was his very last tour. And there's a CD going around that's Marvin's last tour, and you'll hear me. Yeah.
I'll look for that as well. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Okay.
Lots
Now,
of stories. And I'm also singing duet with Bobby Caldwell on my album. There's an album that I did with Tom Scott, who's a saxophonist
sure.
who played on Asia for Steely Dan.
Mm.
And he and I did an album together. We kind of co-produced it together. On some places it says Tom Scott featuring, but it's all me. And we're just co-producing. They just have the wrong stuff, and I don't know who to go to correct it, but it's okay.
Wow.
I'm doing that as well with I'm singing a duet with Bobby Caldwell and also a duet with Will Downing. Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
The two hot duet, the one by the Ohio, Kool in the Gang. Yeah.
Okay.
And as a matter of fact, George Brown, who wrote Too Hot for Kool in the Gang, came in the studio when I sang on it. Yeah. He
Wow.
loved our version. Absolutely. He rest
Okay.
in peace. Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
There's
Yes.
a lot of history.
I see. I see. Now, tell us a little bit about yourself. And I heard you say that you were born in Chicago.
Yes.
Where did you grow up? West Side, South Side?
Outside of Chicago.
Okay.
South
Okay.
Chicago. And I'm the only one in my family. And I knew nothing about the music world or professionally at all. I was very, very green. But I moved, I eventually, because singing, it was a law of attraction before that became a popular cliche. Okay. And all I ever wanted to do was sing. I was singing. By the time I was 2 years old, I could sing better than I could talk. I tell everybody, my mom said, let her sing, she'll sing, and all through school, that's how, and God just continued to feed me because, no one in my family before me, unlike a lot of singers, you hear them say, well, my father was a musician or my mother was a musician or my aunt or uncle, they were this. I never had any of that, it was just something I knew I was called to do. Now, my mother and father could both sing, but they were blue collar workers. They never ventured into the music entertainment world ever. So when I went out, I was totally green. When I auditioned for the American Breed, which later became Rufus, I was green as green could be. The fresh Christmas trees that you see.
Yeah. So, but who inspired you? Who said that you really could sing? I know your mother said at 2 years old. Go
Oh
ahead.
goodness, all of my family when I was little, from the time I was 2, when they came for holidays and everything, they would give me silver dollars to sing because I would want to sing. I just started singing, and so it became a thing. But where's Paulette? Paulette, come sing for us. So I just started singing for them, and I saw how incredible it made me feel, and how many smiles put smiles on faces when I sang. So. And I just love watching like Sammy Davis and Yes I Am, and watching Fred Astaire and Ginger Rogers and Dorothy Dandridge and I would Billie Holiday. I mean, just watching all these, the very few Black singers made me believe that there was a possibility that I could somehow. I didn't know how, but I told God back then, God, I just want to sing.
So, did you decide?
Yeah.
When did you decide that the only thing that you wanted to do was music? When did you say, this is it? This is my career?
Right. I'm telling you, from the time I was a little girl.
Okay.
Yeah, a very, very young girl. Matter of fact, I sang on, my mother was going to this church, and I ended up on a radio show singing for a couple of weeks singing gospel, but I didn't grow up in a gospel church. I grew up in Catholic school, all my life in Catholic school. So like I said, I was really green. I was not prepared for the world when I went out into the world, and I got knocked around a lot. And but I'm grateful for it because it's taught me so much. Yeah. Yeah.
Now you have a new album coming out now, I believe.
I have one album that came out during COVID that's going to be reissued,
Oh,
and Story. And I have a new album coming out that my label, I'm with an indie label called Majestic Music. And I have a new album that's coming out, and it's including not just the jazz, because as a musician, we do every genre. We don't, no musician really likes being pigeonholed into one thing. Jazz is where I flow and where I live, but I put that onto any genre that I sing.
mm.
So I don't do it intentionally, but it's just kind of how I flow when I sing. And so I have a new album coming out that I've co-written every single song, and I'm singing all of the vocals. And Ivan Hampton, who was the drummer with Luther, he and we've been writing together forever. So we wrote the songs. I wrote the melodies, the lyrics, and all those. A lot of those ideas are mine. And that's coming out on Funktify. The brand is Funktify, but it's Paulette McWilliams, and that's coming out at the end of probably around the end of January of 2025.
All right. Wow. Wow. And there's also a holiday song, Pink Champagne, that's
Yeah.
out. Now, tell me about that. Because
Okay.
did you co-write that
I
with Max?
Okay, so Pink Champagne is a beautiful collaboration. Max Sadak sent the song to me, called me up and asked me if I wanted to be part of writing the song. And I asked Ivan and I, because he knew that we wrote together, and we wrote another song with Max a long time before that, previous to that, called Mama's Kitchen Table. So he sent the song, and I was like, wait a minute. And he told me the story. And so I just started with Ivan. Ivan had a track, and I said, okay, this track could maybe work. We just have to make a couple of changes. With Ivan and I talked about the changes. I kept singing melodies, and I would call Ivan up and sing him the melodies, and then he kind of adjusted the tracks, and I tweaked a few of the lyrics, and I thought it was such a beautiful story that Max came up with, because I think he's so creative and brilliant. He's just a really incredibly brilliant man, and kind and loving. So that's how Pink Champagne came along. And I came up with the idea of doing the talking in front of it, and, helping the story that way. And, with the whole do, 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 all those were like ideas I came up with to make it, to lend it the Christmas spirit. But what a great idea, because Max and I talked about the fact of people, how people, celebrating Christmas. We forget about there's some people out there that are not celebrating Christmas in the same way. There are couples that are maybe breaking up at Christmas. There are people alone at Christmas. Let's empower some of those people, and let them know that, we got you. We can tell this story that will relate to you somehow. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. And I know we're pressed for time and all that, but we lost another soul singer, Alpha Anderson, that you mentioned earlier.
Yes.
How will you remember her?
Oh, I loved Alpha. Oh my goodness. When I
Mm.
first started, okay, so when I first started with Luther, I recorded with him before I actually went on tour with him. I started recording it with him in 1981, which went on the Forever for Always album, which came out, I think, 1982. Um, before, I didn't tour with him until 1984. Like I said, I went on the road singing backup and duets with Marvin Gaye in the interim. But I was still doing the albums with Luther. Um, but when I first met Alpha, she was one of the first beautiful women there that just welcomed me with open arms. She was classic, timely. She was graceful, intelligent, kind, generous, and just loving, and just sweet, just an amazing woman, amazing person, that I had so much respect for. and loved her as a sister, you know. So, and she was just always, if there was anything that was needed, she would be the first one. Oh, girl, here, you know, like if we were in the dressing room, she was sweet like that and could sing so beautiful. Luther loved her. Whoop, whoop, how she did it in the soprano, you know, with her to Walter Lisa. He loved that. And she was fun. She was fun. We would all laugh so much in the dressing room. Alpha Anderson was just a genuinely incredible woman. And, you know, I found out later she was an incredible school teacher, you know, so loved her, absolutely loved her, and still do. And her memory lingers on. Yeah.
Okay. Anything else you'd like to share? Anything else on your mind?
Anything else that I would like to share? No, I'm just grateful to still be here and to still, you know, still be doing what I do. You know, I jump rope, I'm singing all the time, and I'm getting ready to do some more singing, and I'm just grateful to be doing what I do all the time. Yeah. Grateful.
Yeah.
Yeah. That God
Well,
made me a singer. Yeah.
yeah. Well, I'm glad that you're still doing what you're doing.
Yeah.
And I thank you for your time,
Thank
you know,
you.
today. And
Thank
I'm going to do one more thing real quick before we close. I must give a quick shout out to Howard Sandifer and his wife, Darlene Sandifer. They are the founders of the Chicago West Community Music Center, a great school on the west side of Chicago. And this whole thing that we're doing now was their idea. They said,
Oh,
let's have lively conversation, you know,
yes.
video podcast. So let's do it. So I
Yeah.
think that you and I just did that. We had a
Yeah.
lively conversation. So thank
Yes.
you,
Thank you.
thank them, and for
Thank
the
you. Thank
viewers,
you, Howard. Thank you, and happy holidays.
yeah, and viewers, please click like and subscribe. Like and subscribe. Happy holidays, y'all.
Holidays.